Do you know that the exact same style of garment can have dramatically different amounts of ease? And those differing amounts can be the difference between whether you love a garment and wear it often or whether it just hangs in the closet. Ease in a sewing pattern is often just something that is in the background and that we don't think much about. But being a little conscious of ease can be the difference between a garment that we love and one that disappoints. Now, a quick internet search will tell you that there are only two types of ease, but I am going to argue that there are three and that the third is the most important. So let's dive in and see how understanding ease can improve your sewing. Do you want to sew clothes but you're worried that they will look homemade? If you're ready to expand your sewing skills and sew clothes you and your family will love to wear, you're in the right place. I'm Lisa, a wife, mom to 3, Gigi to 2, and a pattern designer for children's clothes. I discovered that choosing the right fabric and sewing techniques can make all the difference in allowing you to confidently sew clothes you will love. If you're looking for help planning your next sewing project, then fire up that sewing machine, dive into your fabric stash, and let's sew with confidence. I remember the days when I could head over to my local fabric store. I could spend hours wandering the aisles looking at all the beautiful fabrics, sorting through the patterns, and putting together garment ideas. Today, those resources can feel much harder to find. That's why I created my free Essential Sewing Toolkit, a collection of my favorite sewing tools, fabric resources, notions, time-saving gadgets, and even a special discount for Pink Holly Bush patterns. Whether you're just getting started or you've been sewing for years, you'll find resources to make your sewing journey easier and more enjoyable. Go to pinkhollybushdesigns.com/toolkit. That's toolkit, all one word. I'll also drop the link in the show notes. First of all, I want to thank everyone who helped make the kickoff of the Sew with Confidence podcast a huge success. I so appreciate your support. To our new listeners who are just finding the podcast, welcome. I am so glad that you are here, and I hope that this discussion of ease is helpful. Last year, I wanted to sew a basic throw-on-and-go t-shirt dress for myself from a fun cotton French terry that I had in my stash. Now, I pored over t-shirt dress patterns. You would think this wouldn't be a difficult decision. After all, aren't all t-shirt dress patterns basically the same? But actually, when I took a little time to look at the amount of ease in those patterns, they differed substantially. Understanding ease helped me to choose the right pattern for me, and I ended up with a dress that I love. So let me walk you through the different types of ease and how understanding the differences can help you pick a sewing pattern that is going to achieve your style goals. So first, what is ease? Well, ease is the difference in size between the actual body measurements and the finished garment measurements. Ease can be positive or negative. Negative ease would be when the garment measurement is actually smaller than the body measurements. This is usually the case with knit garments. So think of a swimsuit, workout leggings, or foundational garments. In all of those cases, the finished garment is actually smaller than the actual body. Now, positive ease, on the other hand, is when the finished garment is larger than the body measurements, and that is most often the case, certainly with woven garments, but most often the case with most garments that we purchase or sew. So the first type of ease is wearing ease. Wearing ease is the amount of ease necessary to allow one to engage in activities that the garment is designed to allow you to do, and to do those activities, well, with ease. That means getting around doing your day-to-day work, sitting down, standing up, whatever it is that that garment was designed to allow you to do. Now, for a woven garment, there are standard amounts that are considered necessary so you're not popping seams. For that bathing suit I mentioned earlier, you're going to want negative ease so that you can engage in swimming and not have the swimsuit come off. Now, the amount of ease, even wearing ease, that you need is somewhat culturally determined. Ease provides comfort in a garment, and we expect more comfort in our garments now than they did 50 to 100 years ago. For example, think of the classic men's shirt. We expect more ease in that buttoned up collar than the starched collar of 100 years ago would have had. In children's garments, there's a lower and looser neckline than 50 years ago. And in women's dresses, we have a little bit more ease throughout the bust and the waist. Now, this is something to keep in mind. If you ever sew with vintage patterns, they might need some adjustment to that ease to make them comfortable for today's wearer. Now, the second type of ease is design ease. This is the additional ease that the designer of the garment or sewing pattern adds to create the style that they're going after. I live in the northeast of the U.S., and we are in the midst of summer right now. Everywhere you look, you will find boxy cropped tops and flowy pants and skirts. So if we take a linen pant as an example, the pant needs to fit over the hips, plus have wearing ease so that the wearer can sit down, move about, and not pop seams. But the additional width of the fabric at the hips or down at the ankles that is beyond the bodily measurements plus the wearing ease, that is the design ease. So the ease in any garment, the amount by which the actual measurements of the garment is either larger or smaller than the body's measurements. That is a combination of wearing ease and design ease. But remember, I argued that there is a third ease, or at least that's what I'm calling it. And the third type of ease is your preferred ease. And this is the most important ease to sew garments that you love. Let me give you an example. Right now, the oversized look in tops is in for women. But there are degrees of oversized. You can achieve that look with a garment that is slightly oversized or dramatically oversized. Neither is right or wrong. It's just which style do you prefer. The important thing is to know your preference so you can pick the right pattern to achieve your style goals. So to wrap up, how do you find the ease of a garment? And then how do you use that information to help you in your sewing? Well, first up, some sewing patterns will tell you, and that is so helpful. But if they don't, then you need to do the math. The difference between the measurements given to pick your size and the finished garment measurements will provide you with the ease. It's not going to be broken down into the different types of ease, but all you need to know is the total amount of ease of the pattern you are considering, and then the amount of ease that you prefer. Now, to determine the amount of ease that you like, just look no further than your closet. Pull out some of your favorite garments, take a tape measure, and find out what measurements you like in the bust, waist, and hips. Do the same for some of the garments that you don't reach for very often. Of course, different garments are going to have different amounts of ease, and there can be a variety of reasons that you reach for one garment over another. But start noticing the patterns. Do you like loose and flowy? Are you more comfortable in a fitted garment? Personally, I know that I tend to prefer garments that just skim my body. Right now, loose and flowy dresses are popular, and I love the look on others, but not on me. So while I can really appreciate the look as I notice those patterns on other people or online. I'm not planning on sewing one for me because whenever I put one on me, I'm just not really comfortable in it. But what do you do if you don't have a similar garment in your current wardrobe? You want to try something a little bit different and you're just not sure the amount of ease that you would like. Well, let's go back to that t-shirt dress pattern I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, because that was exactly my situation last summer. I didn't have any t-shirt dresses in my wardrobe, so I really didn't know what I wanted the amount of ease that I wanted in the dress I was going to make. So I started looking at the pattern line drawings. Now, while pattern line drawings can be a great help, they don't always tell the truth. So I always go to social media and sites like Pattern Review and the blog posts of the designer's website to just try to see the pattern on a variety of body types and made up in different fabrics, and judge, do I like the ease? Do I like what I'm seeing? And based on that, I ruled out the initial pattern I was considering. It actually had way more ease than I thought I would be comfortable with, and I ended up picking a more fitted t-shirt pattern. Now, I will say, as I mentioned, I love the dress, but I might want a little bit more ease next time around. So if I get to making a t-shirt pattern dress for myself this summer, I'm actually going to try one with a little bit more ease. I'll let you know if I get it made, how I make out in a future episode. I hope that when you're choosing your next sewing project, you'll spend a little time thinking about your preferred ease and doing a little research on the ease of the patterns you're considering, so that knowing both the pattern's ease and your preferred ease, you end up sewing a garment that you'll love. Happy sewing! Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something along the way. If so, would you take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts? Leaving a review is the best way to help support this show. Also, please remember to hit follow or subscribe. It just makes my day to know you're enjoying this podcast. Now go take a few minutes for yourself and sew something. Your sewing machine misses you. I'll meet you back here on Tuesdays and Fridays for another episode. Happy sewing!